Hi again. Thank you for watching Chittarupa Yoga and Fitness. I'm Laura Wilson, showing you ways to modify exercises so everybody can find a way to work out. Today we're going to be focused on just the standing portion of a basic yoga class. You don't really need any equipment. We are going to look at some ways to modify. We're going to break down some of these poses a little more in depth than usual so you can find ways to make it work for you. All you really need is your mat and a nice safe area to work out in, but by all means, if you have a chair or you want to get near a wall, make sure you do that. We are going to do a little balance here today as well. While you're getting ready, just a reminder, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Please invite friends to check it out as well. If you like the video, hit that button underneath and let me know in the comments if you like these all standing yoga classes or if you prefer a mat or a chair class. That really helps me out with planning what I put out here. So let's begin in our mountain pose when we're ready. And just take a few deep breaths any way you want to. Any movement, in through your mouth or nose. Just kind of feeling your own body right here. What's going on for me today. And then we're going to press our feet into the floor. For our mountain pose, traditionally we would do this with our feet together, hands by our sides. But most of us are going to feel more comfortable with our feet hip distance and our arms a little away from our body. And just let them hang naturally. This is a strong pose, like a mountain. Pressing into the earth, lifting up toward the sky. And just being very active, drawing our shoulder blades together, pressing them toward our hips, lengthening our neck, and just feeling strength in this pose. And we're going to shift our hips back, keeping our feet where they are. Shift our hips back just a little bit. A lot of people call this chair pose, but I prefer the literal translation of powerful pose because it takes a lot of power to do this pose. So pressing our hips back, we can bring our hands to our thighs for support, to our heart. Let's keep it at one of these two for now. We're just going to warm up. Inhale, come up, and press back through our arms. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, press. Exhale, bring it in. And let's go back ahead and step into Warrior One. So again, traditionally we would line up our heels, opening our back foot to the corner, but you may feel better balanced keeping your feet hip distance. I'm going to kind of go in the middle. We want to follow our back legs, so our body wants to line up with the corner. Let's go ahead and take our arms overhead for a moment. We're going to if our right leg is forward, we're going to let our left hand come down and just do a few little side presses here. Squeezing our rib cage, stretching through the other side, just a subtle move across our obliques. Now let's go ahead and hold that stretch for a moment. Lining ourselves up with that corner, let's reach both arms overhead. And we're going to go ahead and open, pressing out. Opening across our heart. Let's spread our fingers and wiggle. And then soften. Bringing this up, let's switch sides. So again, we can line up our heels. We can separate our feet hip distant. Wherever we are, let's line ourselves up to that corner. Dropping our opposite arm of our front leg, taking to those little crunches for a moment. Feeling our obliques and our core waking up. Let's go ahead and hold the stretch. And then keep our body aligned with our corner. Let's find our full warrior pose. Opening across our chest again. And let's step this to our mountain of choice. Let's press back to that chair again. And we're just going to do an easy twist. So let's keep our spine long where it is and just do an easy twist over to one side. And come back to the center, lengthen, and an easy twist to the other side. Let's come back to the center, lift. We'll find that warrior one again. And this time we'll keep our hands at our hips. We're going to straighten our front leg. Let's come halfway forward and bring our hands to our thigh. We may be a little less than halfway forward. Anywhere that feels right. And then as we're feeling it, we'll take it deeper. And let's bring this up. And we'll take easy fists to our bottoms, lengthen tall, and then into a back bend if we're feeling it today. Drawing our belly up under our ribs, shoulders back. And we can keep our gaze straight ahead. We might take it to the corner where the ceiling meets the wall, just to keep our neck aligned. Let's lift up and switch sides. Warrior one. Straighten our leg and come a quarter to halfway forward. See how this side feels. And then we'll take it deeper. Wherever that is for you, you may have started at a quarter forward and now you're at a half forward. You may have started at half and now you're full forward. Everybody's different. Let's bring this back up, easy fists to our bottoms. And again, just lengthen up tall, rolling our shoulders back, depending on how our shoulders are feeling. And then taking it into a back bend if we're feeling it. And let's release, stepping up to our mountain. And we'll slide our first leg back again, warrior one. But let's look at warrior two. Walking this foot back, we want to turn our body to the side. This is a hip opener, lining up our front heel, back arch, this foot out to the edge, this knee pulling toward our pinky toe. And we have a tendency to lean into this. Let's make sure that our shoulders are stacked over our hips. We're drawing our belly up under our ribs, extending our arms out. Being aware of this front knee, pulling it out to our pinky toe without losing that line above our hips. There's a lot going on in this pose. So let's just hold it for a moment. And we can always modify for our shoulders by taking hands to our hips. We tend to look out over the arm of that front knee. Let's reverse this warrior. Back arm coming down. Now, one thing that people tend to do is straighten this leg when they reach this arm up. Stay in this lunge, drawing the knee out toward the pinky toe. We can also think about dropping this hip. And we can gaze up at our hand, or we can keep gazing straight ahead. Sometimes looking at the floor helps us ground and stay balanced. All right, let's bring this back here and we will straighten that leg this time. Shifting our hips back, let's reach forward. And we'll take this over to our triangle. We can keep our triangle high. We can take our triangle low. We can extend this arm up, but just be aware that wherever our shoulder is, we want the arm extending straight out from where that is. We don't want to reach our arm back. We can also place our hand on our hip or our back and focus on that movement of our shoulders. Here again, I prefer to look straight ahead, but you can always ground by looking at the floor, which I do sometimes. Once in a while, I'll look up. But again, I like to look forward. Let's bring this back up to our lunge, reverse warrior. And we'll bring this back to warrior two. Let's lift our toes, and we're going to turn both feet facing the same way. And then we're going to hinge forward. We're going to look at a couple of different things here than you've probably looked at before. So flowing forward. And maybe walking our feet out to our hands. Let's bring our hands back underneath, walk a step forward, and find a downward facing dog with wide legs. Then walking this back in, let's hinge up. And we're going to go ahead and just walk our feet in to our mountain pose. And let's come back here, grounding our feet into the floor, lengthening up to the ceiling, soft knees. Noticing how our body's feeling. We just did a lot of work on one side. We should be feeling some different things going on here. Let's take this to our warrior one again, other side, where we're going to go ahead and open this up to our warrior two. So again, we're opening to the side wall, opening this back foot, following our back leg. Front knee out toward our pinky toe without messing up our hips. Shoulders over hips, not leaning into this. Warrior two, out wide or modified. Keeping this knee opening out. Dropping this hip, because we're going to reverse warrior. And again, gazing wherever it works for us. And let's go ahead and bring this back to warrior two. We'll straighten our leg, shift our hips, and let's reach all the way over to our triangle. Remember, focus on opening at your shoulders, extending the arm wherever it is, not reaching back. Or again, we can let it rest to take care of our shoulder. Let's bring us back to our reverse warrior. Knee back over our ankle. Remember, we don't want to straighten that leg for this. Let's bring this back to warrior two. We're going to turn our toes again. This time we're going to reach our hands back, clasp and really open up here. Squeezing our shoulder blades together. And we're going to come a quarter of the way forward, still checking that our shoulder blades are squeezing. If they are, we can come a little further. But let's keep those shoulder blades squeezing together. Let's bring this up, walking in. Back to our mountain. And again, just see how this is feeling. And perhaps we'll get near a wall. Let's shift our weight to one foot. And let's lift the other leg and cross it over. So we're just going to work on balancing right here. Or not. If we fall out of it, we just get back into it the same way we started. Let's go ahead and switch to the other side, shifting all of our weight first. Lifting that leg up when we're ready. We're staying tall for this. Let's release from here. We're going to continue to work on balance, but we'll have both feet on the floor. So, 3 choices. We're going to do a side bend, feet hip distance, feet together, or one leg crossed over. We're going to reach one arm up and then side bend to this. Staying focused on our balance. Breathing. And we might even look up to our hand, adding a little neck stretch into this. Let's release from there. And again, we can be hip distant together or crossed over, side bend the other way. Adding in that neck stretch. And let's release from that. So let's bring our feet together in our mountain pose. We're going to do a twisting pose where we start with our knees, then our hips, shoulders. Place our hands on opposite hips and look over and see if we can see what's directly behind us. Let's unwind from there. Lengthen ourselves tall. Start with our knees, hips, shoulders, and then our head. And let's unwind all that. Shake that out. We're going to look at one more balancing pose. Let's shift our weight to one side. We're going to lift our foot. Now, if you want to, you can reach down and grab your foot. Or not. Now let's drop this foot just a little behind the other, heels lined up like a warrior one. Just a narrow warrior one. And we're going to lengthen up, finding a deeper back bend perhaps. Let's release from that, and we're going to lift our other foot up toward our bottom. And then you can grab it if you want it. Holding on makes this easier. Dropping that foot just a little behind into a mini warrior one. Adding our back bend. Now let's lengthen up from here, feet hip distance. Now let's hinge forward at our hips. We're going to come into a full forward fold, letting our head hang forward. We can even hold on to our elbows and hang here. Wiggle side to side, shaking out our head, or rocking everything. Let's hinge our way back up. And just extend overhead for a moment. Coming to our mountain pose. And let's take a few deep breaths here, closing our eyes, softening our knees, rolling our shoulder blades together. And just taking note of what we're feeling, how we're feeling. And we're just going to shake everything loose. See what's happening in our body now. Let's take one nice big breath. And just kind of let it all go. Thank you for joining me as always. I do appreciate you being here, I really do. Please do ask your friends to subscribe, hit that like button for me, and let me know in the comments if you prefer all standing or if you'd like some full mat classes or chair classes. And I will see you